During stage 6, ordinary citizens begin to lose faith in the monetary system itself. They start hoarding physical goods, precious metals, or foreign currencies as hedges against the collapsing value of their domestic money. This behavior accelerates the crisis as reduced confidence in the currency becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Businesses struggle to plan for the future when they can't predict what their money will be worth next month. The government's response during this stage typically makes the situation worse. Price controls are imposed to combat inflation, creating shortages and black markets. Capital controls are instituted to prevent money from fleeing the country, trapping savers and investors. Bailouts are announced for politically connected industries while smaller businesses are left to fail. Each intervention undermines confidence further while failing to address the underlying problem of excessive debt. Stage 7 represents the final collapse and reset of the financial system. This is where the 89% wealth destruction of 1929 actually occurred. Not in a single day, but over a grinding 3-year period as asset prices fell to levels that reflected economic reality rather than speculative fantasy. The Dow Jones Industrial Average peaked at 381 in September 1929 and bottomed at 41 in July 1932. Entire fortunes built on paper profits simply evaporated. But here's what most people don't understand about Stage 7. It's not just destruction, it's also the beginning of renewal. The excessive debt gets wiped out through defaults and bankruptcies. Asset prices fall to levels where productive investment becomes attractive again. The wealth concentration that characterized the bubble years gets reset as leveraged speculators lose everything, while patient savers can finally afford to buy real assets at reasonable prices. The human cost is enormous, of course. Unemployment reached 25% during the 1930s as businesses failed and credit dried up. Families lost their homes, their savings, and their hopes for the future. The social fabric frayed as desperate people competed for scarce jobs and resources. But from this destruction eventually emerged a more stable and equitable economic system that supported decades of broad-based prosperity. The question facing America today is whether we'll learn from history or be condemned to repeat it. The stages are unfolding with mechanical precision, just as they did nearly a century ago. We're deep into Stage 5, with clear signs that Stage 6 is approaching. The choice is whether to take painful but necessary action now to address the debt crisis, or wait for Stage 7 to impose its own brutal solution. Brutal solution. The tragedy is that this choice isn't really in the hands of ordinary Americans. The financial elite who created this mess have spent decades rigging the game in their favor. They've captured regulatory agencies, bought politicians, and designed a system where their losses get socialized while their profits remain private. When the crash comes, they'll be the first to get bailed out while everyone else pays the price. This is the most insidious part of the pattern. The people who benefit most from each stage of the bubble are the same people who have the resources to protect themselves when it bursts. They convert their paper wealth into hard assets before the collapse. They move money offshore to safer jurisdictions. They use their political connections to secure government contracts and bailout funds. The wealth doesn't actually disappear during Stage 7. It just changes hands from the naive to the connected, from the trusting to the prepared. You can see this transfer mechanism already beginning to operate. Corporate insiders are selling their stock holdings at record rates, while publicly proclaiming confidence in the economy. Billionaires are quietly diversifying into foreign real estate, precious metals, and other assets that hold value when currencies collapse. Private equity firms are buying up single-family homes, converting home ownership from a middle-class aspiration into a rental relationship with financial overlords. The Federal Reserve itself has become the ultimate insider trading operation. When they announce new rounds of money printing, asset prices surge before the new money even enters circulation. The banks and hedge funds that get first access to this freshly created cash can purchase assets before inflation drives up prices for everyone else. It's a systematic wealth transfer from savers to speculators, from workers to financiers, from the productive economy to the parasitic financial sector. Stage 7 won't just destroy wealth randomly. It will destroy it selectively, targeting those who trusted the system most, while rewarding those who understood its fragility. The pension funds that dutifully bought government bonds will see their purchasing power evaporate. The middle-class families who saved in bank accounts will watch inflation consume their nest eggs. The small businesses that played by the rules will find themselves unable to compete against corporations that benefited from cheap credit and regulatory capture. But for those who position themselves correctly, Stage 7 represents the opportunity of several lifetimes. Real estate will become affordable again as leveraged speculators are forced to sell. Productive businesses will trade at fractions of their intrinsic value as panic selling overwhelms rational analysis. Commodities and precious metals will surge as people flee from paper assets into things that can't be printed or manipulated by central banks. The survivors won't be the ones with the highest paper net worth today. They'll be the ones who understand that wealth isn't numbers on a screen, but control over real resources. Land that produces food, businesses that create genuine value, skills that remain useful regardless of what happens to the financial system, relationships with people who share your values and can be trusted when institutions fail. This is why understanding the 7 stages matters so much, not just as an intellectual exercise, but as a survival guide for what's coming. We can't prevent the collapse. The debt levels and systemic imbalances have progressed too far for that, but we can prepare for it. We can position ourselves to weather the storm and emerge stronger on the other side. The window for preparation is closing rapidly. Stage 6 could begin tomorrow if the wrong catalyst appears. A major bank failure, a currency crisis, a geopolitical shock that disrupts global trade. Any of these could trigger the transition from slow-motion crisis to full-scale collapse. The smart money is already moving. The question is whether you'll join them or become another casualty of a system designed to fail. History shows us that financial collapses are not natural disasters. They're engineered events that transfer wealth from the many to the few. The 7 stages aren't accidents or market forces beyond human control. They're the predictable result of specific policies and behaviors that create unsustainable imbalances. Understanding this gives you power, the power to see through the lies and propaganda, the power to protect yourself and your family, the power to profit from the chaos instead of becoming its victim. The choice is yours, but time is running short. Stage 5 is ending, and what comes next will reshape America in ways most people can't imagine. The stages don't lie, they never have. From the credit expansion of Stage 1 to the wealth destruction of Stage 7, this pattern has played out with ruthless consistency across centuries and continents. What happened in 1929 wasn't unique. It was inevitable. And what's happening now isn't different. It's history, preparing to repeat itself with mathematical precision. You now know something most people will never understand. You can see the machinery of collapse operating in real time, hidden behind the noise of daily headlines and political theater. The debt trap is closing, the warning signs are flashing red, and Stage 6 is closer than most people dare to imagine. The question isn't whether this will happen. The question is what you'll do with the knowledge. Will you be one of the millions who trust the system until the very end, watching their wealth evaporate like morning mist? Or will you be among the few who understand that preparation isn't pessimism, it's survival? The 89% wealth destruction of 1929 didn't discriminate based on education, income, or social status. It destroyed everyone who believed the promises of permanent prosperity, but it also created the greatest buying opportunity in American history for those who kept their powder dry and their eyes open. History doesn't repeat, but if you ignore its lessons, it will crush you all the same. The stages are unfolding. The choice of what happens next is yours. If this opened your eyes to what's really happening, hit subscribe. The truth isn't popular, but it's profitable for those brave enough to face it.